Good evening. I hope you are having a good week. My goodness, this is already our third installment this week. It means it's Wednesday. And I don't know what you've encountered this week. I don't know what you've had to deal with or face. But I can tell you without reservation that nothing you are dealing with and nothing you are going through has caught God off guard. He is there, He is with you, and He is very faithful. You know, this week we've been talking out of St. Mark, where Jesus has been talking, in the end of the chapter He has been teaching and ministering and touching and changing lives out of a ship, and Jesus tells His disciples to go over on the other side, and He has spoken to their destiny. And as I told you earlier, He has your destiny in mind. He cares about your outcome, but He also cares enough that He wants you to know that He's not going to send you to your destiny alone. He sent His disciples. They went to the other side. He's in the ship with them. This humongous storm comes upon them. This storm was bad enough for these seamen that they were afraid that they were going to lose their life. Now, they were in the midst of the sea because Jesus had already spoken to them, and Jesus said this. Jesus said, "Let us go over to the other side." He was speaking their destiny, but He was also speaking it in a way that they understood He was going to their destiny with them. And the storm came from nowhere. Mark said it was a great storm of wind that came upon them. And the word that is used in this passage of Scripture is taken from the word mega. M-E-G-A, this great storm. It was a mega storm. We know that mega means something of magnificent, great proportions. Thus, we know that it was a mega storm. And the word used here for wind is a word that means terrible, violent wind. So this was a mega, terrible, violent wind. Sometimes what we are dealing with seems mega, seems violent to us. We don't see an outcome. We don't see daylight. We can't see the other side of the situation. And all we can do is, like the disciples, go to Jesus and say, "Master, don't you care? Help us. We're going to perish." Let me tell you, we always need to be in the place that we put our faith and our trust in God, knowing that He's going to take care of us. Sometimes, let me say to you, Satan will totally take us by surprise because we're really not aware of everything that's going on around us. Sometimes we're not even aware that we are getting into deep water. Where they were, sometimes that water was 600 feet deep. Well, I don't know how to handle that, except you got to trust where you are and who you're with, because Nancy and I have gone on a couple cruises, and I don't know how that deep water is. But honestly, it doesn't make any difference if it's 100 feet or 6,000 feet. I can't swim. Well, I swim, some people say, like a rock. You know how that is. You just go straight down. So in the midst of those cruises, I put my faith and my trust in the ship and in the pilots and all the workers, but ultimately I put my faith in God. I don't go those places without prayer and looking to and depending on God. Sometimes the storms of life just broadside us, and we must guard ourselves not to get into the world system, so to speak, too deep, but stay in a godly system with God in charge and God taking control of us. This passage in St. Luke that we read out of Mark, Luke says it came down. It shows that the storm fell suddenly from Mount Hermon down into the Jordan Valley and struck the Sea of Galilee violently at its depth of 682 feet below the Mediterranean Sea. The hot air, they tell me, at this depth draws the storm down with sudden power. And these sudden storms continue to this day on the Sea of Galilee. The word occurs in the Septuagint of the whirlwind, out of which God answered Job in Job 38:1, and in Jonah chapter 1 verse 4. This powerful, magnificent storm which put the disciples' lives at risk. And evidently, they had done all that they knew to do to stay safe, and then they went and got the master. Why is it that in our situations we wait until things are desperate before we call out on God? I want Him there at the beginning, leading me, teaching me, keeping me, for He is big enough. No matter our circumstance, no matter our situation, God is big enough to take care of where we are. So in the midst of the storms of life, in the mega issues that come our way, let's not fail to trust God. You see, I found out a long time ago, I know in whom I have believed, and I am persuaded that He is able to keep that which I have committed unto Him. Get that? What I have committed unto Him. He's faithful. He's good. He is all-caring. And He is strong enough to take care of everything. What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the waves, they obey Him? He's the same kind of God that the storms in your life must obey Him. He is good. He holds you in the palm of His hand, and He desires to see you through. Listen, in the midst of your situation, do what you can do, but don't panic. Let God take care. Let God go with you, and let God see you through. And I guarantee you, in closing the night, that we will come to the place that in time we will look back behind us and say, you know, I don't know how I ever made it through that. And then it dawns on us, we wouldn't have if we hadn't listened to God. God's your source. He's your hope. He's your stay. Keep clinging to God, and God's going to take you to the other side in your destination that He planned for you. Until tomorrow night, God bless you. Go with God. Keep on going on. Good night.
Myself this question.